Well, Thanksgiving is around the corner. As families make plans to gather and share food, there are many in the Bay Area who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Bay Area innovator Komal Ahmad has a startup with a mission to end hunger. The approach is straightforward: redistribute excess food from restaurants or hospitals to those in need. Her startup Copia is part mobile app and part on-the-ground logistics. CEO and founder of Copia, Komal Ahmad, joins me now. So nice to have you here.
So nice to be here. Thank you so much.
How did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I was walking down Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley. I was a student there, and I encountered a homeless man begging for food, and something about him compelled me to stop and invite him to join me for lunch. And during lunch, he sat right across from me, just scarfing down his food. So he was really hungry, and in between bites, he shared a story. He said, "My name is John. I just came back from my second tour in Iraq. I've been waiting weeks for my VA benefits to kick in, and because I haven't eaten in 3 days." And that really hit home for me. I mean, this is a veteran, someone who had given the most selfless sacrifice for our country, only to come home to face yet another battle. That was hunger and homelessness. And then adding insult to injury, right across the street, Berkeley's dining hall was throwing away thousands of pounds of perfectly edible food. And so it's this very stark reality of those who have and waste and those who are in need and starve, and those two people right across the street from one another. And what I realize is that's emblematic of a much larger problem, and that is in every single day in America, over 365 million pounds of perfectly edible food is wasted. And the paradox is that while all of this waste is happening, 1 in 6 Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. So clearly it's not a lack of food that's the issue, it's just an inefficient distribution of it. This isn't a scarcity problem, it's just a logistics problem.
So then you figured out a way how to solve that logistics problem. How does Copia work?
Yeah, so Copia works. So imagine if you're Google and you have a bunch of food at the end of the day, you would take a picture of the food and you would say, we need it picked up by this time. It's automatically geolocated and it's sent to a virtual marketplace. And our algorithm on the back end will match that exact amount and type of food to the nearest nonprofits that can accept it at that day, at that time, in that quantity, and it'll dispatch our food hero to come pick up that food and then drop it off. And then as a full circle, we'll send back, the food managers photos and testimonials so they can see the impact that they made, along with data and analytics that will help them reduce future overpurchasing and disposal costs, as well as like an enhanced tax deduction receipt, so that they can also see the financial savings that it made by just doing good that had the impact on their bottom line.
So how many businesses have signed on now, and how many people have you fed?
Yeah, so we're on our way to feeding 1 million people. We have hundreds of nonprofits and businesses that work through our platform. We're in 40 cities across the Bay Area, and we're always looking for more businesses, whether you're a grocery store, a corporation, a tech company, whatever you may be, everybody that has excess food, and then nonprofits as well. So we serve, from St. Anthony's, St. Vincent de Paul, Larkin Street Youth, Boys and Girls Club, Delancey Street Foundation. So, a whole gamut of people that we serve.
What about the practical realities, though? Are there liability issues? Is it hard to convince businesses to sign on? What if someone gets sick from eating their food?
Yep. Great question. That's the 90% of the reason why businesses don't already donate their food is because of fear of liability. So there's 5 different ways we protect businesses from liability. Number 1 is all nonprofits that work with us sign hold harmless indemnity agreements that directly indemnify us as well as the food provider from any liability. It also puts the onus of responsibility to reject the food onto them. Congress in 1996 passed the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act that protects all donors from any liability. Since 1996, the number of claims and lawsuits that have been filed against any business or organization or individual has been 0.
We also show intent to harm, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
And that's very hard to prove. We also have a $5 million insurance policy that protects every donation that happens through our platform, as well as all of our drivers. No one's a volunteer. We are a for-profit company, so none of our drivers are volunteers.
And you've employed a lot of veterans.
Exactly,
and
a lot of veterans.
Exactly,
as a lot of the recipients of our food have now come on as drivers, as food handlers. So it's not just a handout, but a hand up as well.
So Copia started out as a nonprofit. You're now a for-profit.
Yes.
Why did you decide to make that move?
We decided because, we're solving the world's largest and dumbest problem, we believe. And we are for-profit for scale because we want to scale incredibly fast. I mean, this is the first time in human history that we can solve some of the world's largest problems. And with technology, we can do it better and faster than ever before. And for us to spend 90% of our time fundraising, it just doesn't make sense. and to continuously like go and
Right.
you know, it makes more sense to use technology to develop and put those resources behind it to actually solve this. And you know what? Right now we're moving the most perishable resource there is, which is food, and we're developing our technology to be so much more sophisticated that it can then, you know, redistribute medicine, medical supplies, books, clothing, because it's not, you know, a lack of any resource. It's just an, you know, inefficient distribution of it. And so our logistics team and our technology team can work together to actually make this happen.
So how do you make money? Do you charge the businesses?
Yeah, so business, just like you would pay for composting or disposal, you would pay for us. It's a volume fee. And then in turn, we also provide you like receipts that actually give you, you know, 200 to 400% return on your bottom lines, which is a cash benefit that you get back after our fees for businesses that do work with us. So it's basically you're getting money that you would have otherwise left on the table, or worse, in the trash. And you're getting that.
Can just anybody download the app?
Anyone can download the app. Yeah, it's on our iOS store. And any business, grocery store, company, KQED are all encouraged to participate.
How have people outside the Bay Area contacted you as well in terms of how to bring this platform to their countries? Because hunger, as you say, is a worldwide problem.
Yes. Thousands. I mean, so we've received over 60,000 requests already for global expansion, and from, you know, senior government officials in Germany and Austria who are like, we want this platform, we'll pay for its expansion so we can help redistribute food and other resources to the Syrian migrants. Right, so when I was in a college a few years ago, I couldn't have possibly fathomed, you know, a use case like that. But you take that, you take disaster relief, you take Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina. I mean, there's so many resources that people need in real time that's already there. It just needs to move quicker and faster. And so we're really excited to see how this is going to expand and how it's going to evolve to really solve a problem that has existed since the beginning of time.
And we did not have time to get into this, but Komal, you're just 26 years old. You already spoke at the White House and at the United Nations this year about Copia. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Much luck to you. Really a wonderful idea.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.